He was a failed artist, rejected by art school, drifting through poverty in the streets of Vienna, yet within 2 decades, Adolf Hitler would rise to become the dictator of Nazi Germany, plunge the world into the deadliest war in history, and orchestrate the murder of millions. No one could have guessed this man would one day become one of the most powerful and feared leaders in the world. A man whose decisions would cause the death of millions and reshape world history. This is the chilling journey of Adolf Hitler, from obscurity to infamy. The early years. Adolf Hitler was born on April 20th, 1889, in Braunau am Inn, a small town in Austria-Hungary. His father, Alois Hitler, was a strict customs official, while his mother, Clara, was kind and nurturing. Adolf was closer to his mother than his father, who he often clashed with. As a child, Hitler wanted to be an artist, but after his mother died of cancer in 1907, he moved to Vienna to pursue his dream. Twice, he applied to the prestigious Academy of Fine Arts, Vienna. Twice he was rejected. Alone and poor, he lived in homeless shelters and sold postcards to survive. These hard years in Vienna shaped his early views, especially his growing hatred toward Jews, who he wrongly believed controlled the banks and art world that rejected him. World War I, a soldier's awakening. In 1914, when World War I began, Hitler volunteered for the German army despite being Austrian. He served as a messenger on the front lines in France and Belgium and was wounded twice. He was also awarded the Iron Cross for bravery. The war gave Hitler a sense of purpose, but in 1918, Germany lost the war. Hitler, still in the army hospital, was devastated. Like many Germans, he believed in the myth that Germany had been stabbed in the back by traitors, communists and Jews, an idea that would fuel his future politics. Despite being Austrian, after the war, Germany was in chaos. The country was humiliated by the Treaty of Versailles, 1919, which forced it to pay massive reparations, give up land, and take the blame for the war. The economy collapsed. People were desperate. In 1919, Hitler joined a small political group called the German Workers' Party, which would later become the Nazi Party. His fiery speeches, full of anger and blame, attracted crowds. By 1921, he was the party's leader. In 1923, he and his followers attempted a coup in Munich, known as the Beer Hall Putsch. It failed, and Hitler was arrested. Prison and Mein Kampf. While in prison, Hitler wrote a book, Mein Kampf, My Struggle. In it, he outlined his beliefs: extreme nationalism, hatred for Jews, desire for German expansion, and the need for a strong leader, a Führer. Though only a few took him seriously at the time, the book would later become the foundation for Nazi ideology. After being released from prison, Hitler focused on building support legally, not through violence. Rising to power. The late 1920s and early 1930s were a time of deep crisis in Germany. The Great Depression hit in 1929. Businesses failed. Unemployment soared. The German people were angry and looking for a savior. Hitler promised to restore Germany's pride, fix the economy, and defeat its enemies. He used radio, posters, rallies, and slogans like "One People, One Reich, One Führer." In 1933, Hitler was appointed Chancellor of Germany. Within months, he took full control, banning other political parties, arresting opponents, and establishing a totalitarian regime. He declared himself Führer, or Supreme Leader, in 1934. The Nazi regime and the Holocaust. Now in power, Hitler began transforming Germany. He built highways, autobahns, revived industry, and gave people jobs, especially in the military. Many Germans supported him at first, but behind the scenes, darker plans were unfolding. Hitler believed in racial purity. He saw Jews, Roma, Slavs, and disabled people as inferior. His government passed laws stripping Jews of their rights, banning them from schools, jobs, and even marriage with non-Jews. In 1938, During Kristallnacht, Night of Broken Glass, Nazi mobs destroyed Jewish homes, businesses, and synagogues. Thousands of Jews were arrested. This marked the beginning of what would become the Holocaust, the systematic murder of 6 million Jews and millions of others in concentration camps across Europe. World War II begins. In 1939, Hitler invaded Poland, ignoring warnings from Britain and France. This triggered World War II. At first, Hitler's armies seemed unstoppable. He conquered France, Norway, the Netherlands, and much of Eastern Europe. In 1941, he made a bold mistake, invading the Soviet Union. His troops were unprepared for the harsh winter and fierce resistance. Then, in December 1941, Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, and Hitler declared war on the United States, pulling America into the conflict. The turning tide, by 1943, the war began turning against Hitler. The Soviets pushed back at Stalingrad, and the Allies landed in Italy. In 1944, Allied forces launched the massive D-Day invasion in Normandy, France. Germany was now fighting on two fronts, east and west, and losing ground fast. Inside Germany, some military officers tried to assassinate Hitler in the famous July 20th plot, but he survived. Meanwhile, the world began to learn of the horrors of the Holocaust as camps like Auschwitz and Dachau were discovered by Allied troops. The fall of a dictator. By early 1945, Berlin was under siege. Soviet troops closed in. Hitler, now paranoid, physically frail and mentally unstable, retreated to his underground bunker. On April 30th, 1945, with Germany on the verge of defeat, Hitler shot himself in the head. His wife, Eva Braun, whom he had married just one day earlier, took poison beside him. Soon after, Germany surrendered. World War II in Europe was over. Legacy and lessons. Hitler's reign lasted just 12 years, but during that time, more than 60 million people died in World War II, including civilians, soldiers, and victims of genocide. His legacy is one of destruction, hate, and warning. He manipulated a nation's fears, spread dangerous lies, and used power to destroy millions. Today, Hitler is remembered not as a hero or a genius, but as a dictator whose ideas led to one of the darkest chapters in human history. Adolf Hitler's life is a powerful reminder of what can happen when hatred is given a platform, when fear overrides truth, and when one man's obsession with power goes unchecked. History does not exist to glorify, but to educate, so the world never forgets and never repeats such a tragedy. We hope you found this video to be informative and insightful. If so, please leave a like and share it with anyone you feel will benefit from it. Your support means the world to us and allows us to keep bringing you more educational content. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our upcoming videos. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.